What's going on, guys? I'm Landon from Shoeware, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at the Nike KD13 Rasta. Alright, so before we get into the shoe review itself, let's go ahead and hit on the box and the price first. So for the box, it's going to come in a pretty basic white/gray box, and then there's some like silver trimming on there, so nothing really standing out for that. But for pricing, these did stay the same as the KD12s with the retail price of $150, so I'd say kind of middle of the pack for pricing. You know, not going to be as low as some Paul Georges, but also not like as high as some LeBrons and Kobe's, but that kind of covers the box and the price, so let's move on. Alright, so before we get into the makeup of this shoe and kind of how they hold up for performance, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the appearance and just kind of the overall design on these first. So just based on my own personal opinion, I do like the look of this KD13 model more than the 12s. And, you know, they kind of definitely simplified that midsole on these compared to the 12, which I think kind of cleans up this model a lot. And it's not like I'm a KD12 hater or anything, because I still think that was a pretty nice shoe. But, you know, this is nicer or more nice or whatever. But, you know, there are a few features that kind of stuck out to me on this new shoe. So at first, I think it's pretty cool how this Nike swoosh that runs along here, it kind of starts off green and then kind of gets cut off and goes into a red material on the midsole. And it's actually really noticeable on this colorway because you can see it break from that green to that red there. And then the attention to detail was super nice on these because they even did it on the back half. On the inside here, it goes from red to green on this back portion. So I just think that's a really cool little switch there. And then I like the ridges and the bumps or whatever design that you want to call it on this tongue right here near the top. You know, it's a nice change that I haven't seen a lot of other shoes have. And then it's also like the best type of change because it switches up the design a little bit, but it's not going to mess up with like how the shoe holds up to play in. And then last on the appearance, this Rasta colorway is a pretty fun one to look at, I think. I mean, you have like the half green and half red laces that cover the left shoe and then switches to half red, half yellow on the right, which, you know, it's not anything crazy, but still pretty unique. And then the shoe is like the colors feature the Jamaican flag, and it's just fun to see like kind of the freedom the NBA players have to do different designs and different collabs on their basketball shoes now. You know, I kind of prefer that compared to reviewing and buying like all black and all white basketball shoes. But that kind of covers the appearance on these, so let's move on to performance. All right, so to finish off this review, I'm going to combine the materials, the comfort, the traction, basically just how these hold up on court together. So getting started with the comfort, the cushioning is going to be similar to the KD12 with that full length Zoom Strobel unit right underneath the insole of the shoe. And then just for added measure, there's even going to be another Zoom Air unit in that forefoot. So you really can kind of feel that cushioning and setup on this shoe more than a lot of others. And then the insole on these is going to be really nice in and of itself because it's reminiscent of some older Kobe models that sort of like mold to your foot over time, which will be beneficial. And now it is worth it to mention that this new simplified midsole that I touched on in appearance, you know, while they do look better, the functionality of the shoe takes a major hit here. That was way too big of a word to use for a basketball shoe review. But anyways, on this KD13, there isn't a lot of like support to keep your foot in the shoe other than in that heel. And then this small piece right here on the forefoot or on the front of the shoe, it's actually highlighted in red. And just a little side note, it does have the number 7 on it on this red piece, which is KD's new number with the Nets, and it's still throwing me off. It's just weird not seeing Durant wear number 35, but that's not important. Anyways, for that reason, the stability took a major step back here. So I would be careful playing in these. Just be a little bit cautious of ankle rolls for that reason. And then it doesn't help, of course, that the materials built into that upper, or I guess like that make up the upper, just aren't really premium quality, kind of much like this tongue. Because the quality on the tongue, how I did mention I like the design on it for the appearance, that was kind of just talking about looks and looks alone. Because from a material standpoint, that foam is going to be pretty cheap, and it will rip if you tug on it like a chew toy. It's going to break, or it's going to rip, or it's going to break and rip. So maybe be advised to maybe not do that. But I do feel like Nike never wants to get shoes all the way right. Or maybe honestly not just Nike, but kind of shoes in general, because I mean, people can't really universally decide what's best and worst. I guess I could sit here and say, you know, the traction on these is really nice, or, you know, that shoe is very responsive. And then anyone could just come on and say, no, the traction on that shoe sucks, or no, that shoe is not responsive at all. And Well, I guess that just kind of keeps these reviews interesting. That's what keeps them going. So, but after picking on this model a little bit for the traction, these do amazing. But you know, it's not like a traditional traction pattern, so we don't have a whole lot to base it off of. But the cool thing is that you can kind of pick out from the bottom and distinguish which pieces on this outsole are going to help with certain types of cut. So for example, like a little oval shaped marking that's running left to right on the shoe this way is going to help with that forward and backward cut. And then the oval shapes that are going to run, you know, more vertical on the shoe, that's going to help you with more of those side to side cuts. So, you know, it's not rocket science. You know, they do about exactly what you would expect them to do from looking at them. But, you know, like I said, it's just a little bit different to be able to see it more clearly. And then the circles are also going to be this spiral setup on there. That's going to kind of cover you for all directions. And then that bigger piece that runs along there is just kind of for additional coverage as well. So a lot of positive things to say about this traction setup. And then the traction is going to be really good for indoor and outdoor. But with that being said, just because these will hold up outside well for traction, I don't really see this being the most durable shoe to use outside on a consistent basis. But to finish up, for sizing, I did go true to size. And while this did work for me, I'd have to maybe recommend going a half size up because I was a little bit surprised at how close my toes were to the edge. And again, it did work for me, but it was closer than most other shoes that I had been playing in. And KD has one of the more narrow shoe lines, I would say. So if you have wider feet, I would maybe recommend going a half size up for sure, and maybe just avoiding the shoe line altogether because like I've been mentioning, you know, it's not going to be the best for support, and you know, the materials aren't going to be great up top, but the traction, there's a lot of traction and cushion things to like about this shoe. All right, so that pretty much wraps up our unboxing and performance review on the Nike KD13 Rasta. Thank you guys for taking some time to watch. And if you are interested in purchasing these shoes, check out the links in the description below. And then if you haven't already, feel free to sign up for Rakuten as well because they are going to give you cash back across all different websites just for buying what you already planned on getting anyways. And also be sure to click the link in our bio, and from there you can find our shoes available for sale on our website. You can also head over to our social media to kind of stay informed on upcoming sneaker releases. And then last, just go ahead and feel free to leave a comment below letting us know if you like this review, or just let us know any other shoes you may want us to check out. But until next review, I'm Landon from Shoeware. Peace.